Hello there, thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and wow, if you're a Van Morrison fan like me, I've seen him in concert a lot of times, more than I want to admit. How's this? 1966, San Fran Bay Area, and Van Morrison's, of course, Belfast, Ireland group, them on their only American tour and a stop in Oakland. Wow, majorly cool. Boxing style concert poster. Look at that thing. Boy, them in the big red letters. Just gotta love that. Wow. 20-year-old Van Morrison pictured on the poster. He's, of course, in that photo of them as the one back row center. And there he is. Boy, 20 years old. Jeez. Them was marketed on this tour as sort of a British invasion band, even though they didn't, that's really a fringe definition because they really skirted convention and didn't play all the games, as we know Van Morrison wouldn't, to be fully accepted as a British invasion band along with the rest. But that's how they were marketed, and there's nothing really wrong with that. They were, from over there. So at the time of this tour, their only tour of America again, they had charted 4 times on Billboard's Hot 100 singles chart with 3 different records, but none of them had cracked the top 20. So they weren't exactly setting the world on fire. But all of them were highly influential evergreens that actually have remained in Van Morrison's live set to this day. So we're familiar with them all. There was Gloria, of course, but surprisingly, I'll even say shockingly, Gloria was the stiff of the 3 records. Then there was Here Comes the Night, which was the biggest hit. It got sneaked inside the top 25 on Billboard. And then Mystic Eyes. And then, just before they came over to these shores, Gloria snuck back on for a second time onto the Billboard charts, probably the record label pushing it again, saying, hey, they're coming to promote it, let's do this, But, in a, I guess you could say a forerunner of Mr. Morrison's distaste for the music business, a group out of Chicago, Illinois, the Shadows of Night, zoomed right past them with their cover version of Gloria at the exact same time here, just before this tour happened, and landed firmly in the nation's top 10 of Billboard with Gloria, while them's version stalled out at number 71. Well, I mean, nothing against Parrot Records in London and all that, but I could see Van getting pretty upset at that right off the get-go in his first tour of America. Okay, so interestingly, we have here late June 26th, right? Yep, June 26th of 1966. As part of this Only American tour, earlier in June, starting the very beginning of June, they had actually done a 3-week residency at the Whiskey A Go-Go on Sunset Strip in Hollywood. And boy, to see them in a small club like that. And, different opening act each week. Well, you've heard the legend. There's never been a poster made, but yep, that 3rd week, The Doors, still 1 year away from Light My Fire, opened for them at the Whiskey A Go-Go. And I guess they liked each other because on the final night, the 2 Morrisons merged and the 2 bands meshed, and they were on stage jamming on a 20-minute version of Gloria and a 25-minute version of In the Midnight Hours. So, that's one of those things that, a lucky 400 or 500 saw, and the rest of us can only, it can wish that somebody had a video camera, except they weren't invented yet. That's right. So after the whiskey ended, a few days later they went to Bill Graham's Fillmore Auditorium, the first of 2 Fillmore posters there, and then 3 days after the Fillmore, they did this gig across the bay in Oakland. And then they gigged around for something like a month or so, and then landed once again at the Fillmore, another Bill Graham poster, July 29 and 30. So obviously for them to be invited back to the Fillmore a month later, both sides were pretty pleased, both Graham and the band. But as it turns out, the band was not pretty pleased with their career. Right after that, they disbanded. They broke up over money squabbles amongst each other and with the band's management. So, I've given you a little bit of a close-in look so far. You got up top there, Leander Productions, not exactly a common Bay Area concert promoter. And you got the picture and them, look at that, that's really lovely. I just think that's really nice. And you got your typical, split fountain format of red going into blue, fading into blue, which then fades into black. And I think the lighting is pretty good today. You can make out that color change, but oftentimes, especially not in the middle of the day, that blue and black looks very close, so it's hard to distinguish the two colors. But it's definitely the three colors, and that's sort of the definition. When a split fountain definition means, of course, it dissolves. That's the word I'm looking for, from one color to another. Then you've got the big, the star and them in concert. I love a boxing style poster that really just puts it right there in your face. That's really cool. And then you have a couple of opening acts. In fact, you have half a dozen opening acts, but the ones in big lettering are in big lettering for a reason. The association's very first hit, Along Comes Mary, a super staple of the 60s, had just entered the Hot 100 3 weeks ago, so they weren't stars yet, just right on the cusp. And the Grassroots, accidentally put together in one word, when of course they're really spelt as two, just launching a big top 40 career, but their first hit, Where Were You When I Needed You, had entered Billboard's chart only 1 week ago. So they were still pretty much unknown, other than of course the Bay Area fans they'd be gigging around with, unknown on a national basis. And then the posters rounded out by 4 local bands that, if you're a poster collector of Bay Area posters, you're familiar with all those names for sure. Well, and then down below you've got the Oakland Auditorium Arena, as you can see there. And it says Sunday, June 26th at 8:15 p.m. No need to give the year. And then the usual, just the details down there, including the Tilghman Poster Press credit. So, nice poster, good condition. It's not faded. It's just really nice nick, as the English say. It does have scribbling on it, writing on it, and we don't like that. So generally when you get a concert poster, you want no tape marks or tack holes or scribbling or whatever, although it's all okay. And I don't know. Sometimes I guess scribbling isn't too terrible. Let's see what this one says. I don't know. What do you think? How about, to John, regards, Van Morrison. Yes, I saved it for last. That's right. It wasn't in '66, it was later, but Van Morrison signed this concert poster. Isn't that terrific? And I know who he signed it for. He signed it to, any Bay Area music fan has met this guy. He signed it to John Goddard of Village Music in Mill Valley. I've even got a picture of Mr. Goddard to hold up. Aww, there he is. In the back room probably, or something, of Village Music. Just a wonderful, wonderful record store. Unfortunately, it closed eventually, a sign of the times, but boy, was it popular. Regular customers included Jerry Garcia and Elvis Costello and just about anybody you want to name. So, anyway, them. Something, it's fantastic poster, fantastic artist. As I said, Van Morrison's a Hall of Fame lifetime artist for me. The word them just doesn't have the stickiness that so many other group names did. It's not the one syllable part. You had the Who, but at least you had the Who. Here it's just them. And it sort of falls off the edge of the table, and maybe that was one of the problems in marketing them. I don't know, that and maybe Mr. Morrison's lack of cooperation. But their records are great, you can't beat those, that's for sure, and this poster is really sweet. Love it, just beautiful. Thanks a lot for dropping by, have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.